Good evening. Welcome to Black Ibis Social Club. I am your host, Alexandru Constantine, and in the ever busy studio, we have Phisto somewhere back there. He's
Yes, hello. Yes,
how you
hello.
doing?
I'm fine. I'm trying to fill these half-empty booze bottles to make a full booze bottle. So, if I make any noise, please
Oh,
don't mind
nice,
me.
nice. You're just combining like
Yeah,
you're
I'm just
making it.
throwing stuff together. It's
Do
gonna
you,
be a little weird. It's gonna be a little weird.
do you remember when like you used to mix all the sodas together at the soda
Yeah,
fountain?
absolutely.
What was that
Yeah,
called?
that's based.
Called
Yeah, that's
suicide.
yeah. Wait, is it?
That's what we used to call it. Oh, give me
Oh,
suicide, and it was like all the sodas mixed together.
yeah. See, what I'm doing is just alcoholism. So
Hmm. Did you ever go to the bar and you know how they have those like rubber mats where they're like we know where they pour drinks and they mix drinks
yeah.
and all the stuff gets there, and
Oh,
then they take the
oh,
all the leftover like all the spillage and then they put
yeah.
it in a
It's just
shot.
in the mats.
I think that was called the gorilla fart. They made me drink one on my birthday.
That's pretty hardcore.
Yeah, it was like on my 21st birthday when I went to the Blue
Uh,
Dog in Long Beach, California. I don't know if it's still there anymore, but it
Man,
was.
you know what? I never realized, but I never really worked at a real restaurant because I don't recall ever seeing or hearing of that.
I've
That
you
mu-
know
that's you know you're right. Like Los
hmm.
Angeles has deep evil in it, and the gorilla is evidence.
Yeah, the gorilla fart. Yeah,
The
I
gorilla
actually
fart is
I
evidence.
never worked as a server. Oh,
Yeah,
server or waiter. I've never done that before. I have never worked in a bar. I did work in a coffee shop for a long time. And
I
that was
did.
my favorite job.
Two of my favorite jobs in college were both food. One was a pizza place, which was just so good. It was so fun just making pizzas. That was a lot of fun. And then the other place, it was one of those Mongolian barbecue places with like the big open grill and like the 5 or 6 guys around it just cooking everybody's food.
Like the
Uh,
teppanyaki thing where they're like setting
yeah,
fire and stuff.
yeah.
Or oh, okay,
Well, no, it's like it's that one. I forget the name of it, but it's like one of these like corporate versions. So it's just like
like
guys with
Benihana's or
sticks.
whatever.
Yeah, something like that. Like it's nothing like skillful. It's just, but it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Just
I like those.
whacking food and cutting it with sticks and throwing things around and being crass and just
I
making
went.
bucks.
I
Good.
went to get a. We went. So my daughter decided that. Wow, that's actually like my cat or something trying to get in. Um,
Oh yeah, outstanding.
give me a
I
second.
was nearly I was nearly late because I was playing with my cat. Just so you know, I nearly decided not to come. I was just gonna stay and play with my cat. Anyway,
I'm
just
trying
kidding.
to get rid of my cat real fast.
Oh, okay,
No,
perfect.
so yesterday my daughter had tryouts for her basketball team. They're doing like little kid
Yeah,
basketball team. That was really cute. Like went to like the
yeah.
rec center. She
Oh,
picked
that's cool.
basketball to play over the summer, which is probably my least favorite sport. All right, but I was like, whatever. If whatever she wants, I just want her to do it, and I want her to do like I'm not one of those guys that's like, you got to do a sport, and the last thing I ever
Yeah.
want to do is hang out with like sports dads or sports moms. That right there is like definitely one of the levels of hell for me if I have to do that. But
Hmm.
I do have to spend time at like dance recitals, and dance moms are probably worse than like
Ooh.
sports dads, to be honest. But
Yeah,
they're pretty
yeah,
good, the ones that she goes to. But so I just want her to do something artistic. I want her to do something like physical. So she does
yeah.
dance. And now she's gonna do basketball over the summer. And there was like tryouts, but they're not like tryouts like you're gonna make the team. There was more like all the kids are coming and they kind of show off their proficiency and how much they know, and they put them in the right team, and it's like co-ed, so it's like, but it's like 6, 7, 8 year olds. Okay, so it doesn't really matter. Like the girls are taller than the boys, so it's pretty good. But she is she like surprised me actually. She like made every single basket. I was like, what? Like how
Nice.
does that? I was like, this is
Just
crazy. Like,
draining them.
yeah, she's just like straight up like swishing, man. Like I was like, okay, all right.
Awesome.
She can't dribble for shit, but like she made every
That's
basket.
fine.
I was like, whoa, okay,
Well, she
impressive.
could take a pass and shoot. That's like half the
Yeah,
game right there, isn't it? I
that's
mean,
what I'm saying. You're right. So
yeah,
so I was like, okay, cool.
it's a good
But
part. Just pass me the ball. Give me the
yeah, after the
ball.
tryout, we went to we let her pick. Like we're like, I don't want to go home. There's not enough time to make dinner, so let's go out and eat. And she picked sushi, so I got some sushi.
Nice.
And there's something I always knew. You know how like at the end of sushi, um, they give you like a fortune cookie or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Well, I've always known that fortune cookies are not Chinese, right? Like they're not from China. There's like Chinese crap,
Right.
but they're from San Francisco.
Right.
And I was like, man, this is kind of weird that they're like the Japanese restaurants giving like this Chinese fortune cookie thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I think they come from the same place where all the Chinese places get their menus.
Right. But
like it's one giant shop somewhere, right?
Right. So my wife looked it up, like she like looked up the Wikipedia or something, and I was right.
Okay.
Fortune cookies come from San Francisco, but
Yeah.
I always assumed it was like the China. It comes. I always assumed that fortune cookies come from the same place that like most American Chinese food comes from, like like orange chicken and stuff, which is San Francisco through like the Hong Kong immigrants, right?
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's a little known fact. Most people don't know that the core business of the gangsters in Big Trouble in Little China was actually fortune cookies. It was fortune cookie production. So
right.
A lot of people don't know that.
But it turns out that fortune cookies were actually not invented by Chinese immigrants. They were invented by Japanese immigrants.
Fucking hell. They called it Chinese.
They were for Japanese tea houses in San Francisco. And so they are American by like Japanese, but by Asian, immigrants, but they're Japanese American San Francisco, but they got adopted by Chinese restaurants.
You know what? I'm going to pretend that it was like the very first example of the Japanese Americanizing, because they named them Chinese because it sells better.
Well, like the other thing that's really interesting is that American sushi, like the sushi we eat here in the US, is nothing like Japanese sushi.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, without going down to Publix, getting me some authentic Japanese sushi.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you guys. I lived in Japan for many years, and I love Japan. And American sushi is better than Japanese sushi, guys.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no!
I'm telling you that there's a lot of. I can't find any good ramen in the U.S. There's some close. I've had some close ramen, but nothing compares to like just your average like hole in the wall street ramen, tonkatsu. There's no good Japanese curry out here. Most people don't even know what Japanese curry is unless you live in Los Angeles or something. But American sushi, the Americanized sushi, is significantly better than Japanese sushi. And it's not really because there's more to it. Japanese sushi is just basically sashimi, and it's just not that. It's kind of boring, I mean, sometimes you just want a good old crunchy roll with like all the sauces on it and all that stuff. It's just more. It's more fun. One thing that American Japanese restaurants do that's kind of weird is they serve you miso soup like for dinner, and in Japan, miso soup is actually a breakfast food.
Whoa!
So like,
I'm having my mind blown right now.
Yeah, so you get miso soup.
All of my ignorance is being overturned in one fell swoop.
Yeah, it's like you almost never get miso soup at night. It's always like there's different dinner soups, but yeah, the little miso soup cup that they give you at like sushi restaurants before your meal starts, that's it's a breakfast food, right?
I wonder how it became not breakfast.
I don't know.
Like, where's the logic there? Like, nah.
And that's an interesting thing,
Maybe they ate American breakfast with the bacon and the eggs, and they were like, we can't compete with this shit. Like, Americans are not going to eat. Nah, we got to serve it for dinner, guys.
So I like Japanese breakfast. Okay, so breakfast is, I'm like iffy. My favorite breakfast has always been like a cup of coffee, a cigarette, and maybe like a glass of grapefruit juice. That's like what I enjoy for breakfast.
Yeah, my favorite is toast, sourdough toast, bacon, crispy bacon, and black coffee.
That's what I like too. I like toast. I enjoy toast a lot. Japanese breakfast is actually pretty good.
What is it?
Well, so we used to go to Denny's. So there's Denny's in Japan, and it looks just like American Denny's.
Oh, that's great
visually, but it's nothing like it's completely nothing. It's like a different company. It's owned by like
That's
I don't know,
awesome.
it's just its own thing, right? But
Yeah,
I
it's owned by
used to get
Japanese Denny's.
so you get actually I have a picture somewhere. I'll find it on one of my Instagram pages. But for Japanese breakfast at Denny's, what I usually get is you get like a big tray type of thing, and there's a cup of miso soup,
Yeah.
a bowl of rice, two or three
Oh.
eggs, like sunny side up eggs, basically,
Oh. Okay.
and salad, like a little tiny salad, and like two like little sausages. It's very
Huh.
simple and like excellent
Yeah.
coffee.
That
It's a
sounds
very
pretty
simple
good.
breakfast. And I mean, in Japan, the eggs are fantastic. Like, you
Yeah.
crack
Oh,
open
I
the
bet.
yolk and it's just like bright orange, like dark orange, like rich orange.
Sunrise out Mount Fuji just pours out of
Yeah, I
this.
mean,
Just
it's
pours out of the
so
shell.
the main reason is because we most of our chickens in the US are grain fed. I guess, don't quote me. You probably have to ask one of the guys like Jason McGinty or something who's really good at
Yeah. I'm
uh
sure he knows.
farming and
Deadlifting 600
stuff.
pound
Those
chickens.
guys that farming. Well, I believe that the main reason is that American mass factory farm chicken are grain fed. They're basically eating cornmeal. They're eating like corn
Mm.
byproduct garbage, which has a very crappy nutritional load.
Yeah.
While Japanese chickens tend to be fed like grubs, like so they're like
Oh.
because chickens are, I think
Actual.
chickens are omnivores, but they're predominantly, if left to their own devices, that they're carnivores, right? They're insect eaters, and so like the darker yolk usually means that they're eating more protein. So then the egg itself
Okay.
has more protein in it. I think that's what I but don't quote me on it. I don't really know. But eggs in the Europe and Japan are much better. The truth is that all food, basically all like produce, all meat, everything is significantly better everywhere but the United States. I mean, and every first world country besides the United States, right? Like because we live in like a capitalist oligarchy of garbage. You know what I mean? Like our food's basically poison. Like,
Yeah.
there's literally like you can go to Europe and you can go to like any supermarket in Europe. Like when I was in Romania, their main supermarket is actually owned by the same company that owns Food Lion down here in the South. And they'll have the same exact stuff, but it tastes like 100 to 200% better. Because the European Union has all these laws that put like make it illegal to put basically poisonous garbage in the food. So they'll sell the same exact brand and the same exact product, but made better. And then in the US, we get the slop garbage version of it because we have like no consumer protection laws to protect us food wise, right? Like we literally like eat like junk. And that's probably why all Americans are disgustingly obese. And
It's amazing.
if you don't,
It's amazing
no,
we're
man,
in such shape as we are.
no, I mean, it's crazy, right? Because it's like, you don't even realize how disgustingly obese Americans are, like literally like disgustingly obese
Oh yeah.
until
Oh, yeah.
you go to Europe and you just walk around for like 2, 3 weeks. And I remember getting off the plane in Atlanta and I was like, oh my God.
Yes, I remember. You know what? I remember that note
I
because the
wanted to cry.
whales.
I wanted
Yeah,
to
the
cry.
whales were breaching. Were breaching the containment.
Yeah, it was just like there was like I remember standing in like a
Yeah.
little like train thing, and there was this like I'd say like 21-year-old girl that was so fat she took up the entire like double like automatic door, And I don't even blame these people because it's like literally like our lifestyle poisoned us. We're basically like just you go to the store and it's just all junk, Even like the
Yep.
vegetables are junk, dude. Like it's just atrocious. Like I don't know. It's sad because we have no protections. But can't smoke a cigarette, but I can poison myself with all kinds of corn slop and like microplastics and hormone, But
Wow.
can't
Yeah.
have a cigarette,
That's true.
guys. It's the end of the world. But yeah,
Yeah.
how you been, man?
Good. It's the end of the year. Getting to the end of the year, so I'm enjoying that. The last month of school is my absolute favorite because all of the work that I've done over the course of the year begins to pay off. Had a lovely conversation with a young man today. I was walking to go print some stuff for for class tomorrow, and I just see him sitting. He's just hanging out. He's like, "Hey man, where you going?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm just gonna go print some stuff." And he's like, "Oh, that's cool." I'm like, "You want to come with?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure." So I show him. I go into like a back. I go into like the back printing area where there's other teachers and like all kinds of stuff. And I just bring him in. I'm like, "He's with me," and everyone's like, "Yeah, that's cool." So we had a nice conversation. Talked to him about why I decided to do Starship Troopers and kind of my whole thought process, and had just a nice conversation. Like I said, really got to pause and be like, listen, the point of education is to transmit love to a student, the love of a subject to student. He's like, huh. And we talked about another teacher at our school. He's kind of known as the best math teacher. And I explained, yeah, that's why, because he's helping you understand why the subject is cool. Like, you may not like it, you may not appreciate it, deep down, but this guy's at least showing you like, oh, I get why other people like it. It was like, as long as I can help you understand that, I win, man. I won. That's all I needed to do.
Right.
And yeah, I can almost guarantee he's never had teachers like us, and that makes me happy. I think you liked it earlier, but that I'm looking it up here real quick. That note about like the poor 7-year-old boy getting taught by, the corn slop, the corn slop obese gremlins. Yeah, no, it is very much for Frodo, because then that guy gets up to high school and we have an opportunity to be like, all right, check this shit out, brother. And they're like, wait, what? Here's something funny that happened. Like, you can tell that I'm definitely getting into the groove. I had 14 kids in my lunch today. They just showed up. Like
nice.
three different social groups, mixed gender. They just roll in. They're like, hey, can we hang out? I'm like, sure. It's like, what? I guess today is visit me day, So it's like, all right, this is cool. But yeah, man, last month of school is the best. This is what I live for. So,
I mean, I remember how excited my daughter, now that I obviously haven't been in school in like 20 something years, but
yeah, right. Nah, man, you're in school right now. Deal with it.
Yeah, my daughter's finishing school right now.
Yeah.
And she loves her teacher. Her teacher's been fantastic. She has a fantastic teacher, and
good.
Her last year when she went to private school, she actually had 2 teachers because she was in the Montessori, and she did not click with those teachers, and the whole Montessori private school thing it just didn't suit her personality type at all. And I actually have I could talk about why I don't like that program. I was kind of skeptical about it in the beginning. I gave it a try, and a lot of my skepticism was proven correct. But this year, she loves her teacher, loves her entire class. All the kids are like, we walk to school, so we run into half the kids, and they all walk with us, and they're all sad that they're not going to be together and stuff. And it's like a bittersweet time, especially if you like it. I don't remember liking school when I was her age. I was like, oh, I just remember never wanting to go. But she just always wants to go. Like, when she's sick, she's sad that she has to miss school. I'm like, well, what's wrong with you? I was the opposite. I was like, man, I had chicken pox in 2nd grade, and that was like 2 months of missing school. It was awesome. I was like, I don't even want to go. But all right. So there's actually 2 articles I want to talk about, and of course, cool. I want to talk. And then I did do what you asked me to. I watched Edgerunners, and I want to talk about.
Outstanding. Yeah,
the show ties in.
You were mentioning. Before the pod, it was that one article that I sent you earlier today, right?
Right. Correct.
Okay. Sorry. Please continue.
So the show, watching a show kind of ties into both topics, right?
Yeah.
And especially the one you sent me. So I think we should talk about the show first, kind of do like a little bit of a topic about the show, and then I'll kind of go into that article, because I think they kind of play into each other. I think the topic of AI is very pertinent to Cyberpunk, basically. So I have decided that I am going to probably do like a full-blown Cyberpunk series where I'm just going to focus on Cyberpunk media, and I'm going to start with Neuromancer, the first cool. Cyberpunk. I might
All right.
I gotta find a copy of Mirror Shades. I don't know where anybody can find Mirror Shades. I feel like it's impossible to find, but I can do.
Yeah.
I think I picked up. I have Neuromancer, but I ordered the other two Sprawl trilogy books. The what's it called? Mona Lisa Overdrive and what's the other one? I forgot. Left my mind right now. But there's three of them, and then there's Burning Chrome, which is basically a short story collection by William Gibson. I'm also going to probably go through a bunch of. So I'm going to try to watch Akira. I'm going to try to do just a whole everything cyberpunk. I might watch Blade Runner and the newer Blade Runner. I haven't seen them. Last time I saw the last Blade Runner was I saw it in theaters when it came out, and I haven't watched it again since. Maybe we'll do a Total Recall episode finally.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
I think Total Recall is cyberpunk.
Yeah, sure. Why not? Why not? Fight me. It's cyberpunk.
But
Fight me.
So last week, you criticized me for not watching Cyberpunk, right? And the truth is, I kind of avoided because it looked really sad. It's like it looks really sad, and I think it's because the movie, the game itself is really sad. I was like, oh man, I need to I can't be that sad all the time, I've been just watching sad stuff. And I was like, no, I got to do it. I got to do it. Phisto says to do it. He always reads everything. He reads and watches everything I tell him to. So I need to do that.
At least this once. Right.
So I picked it up last night and I watched. My plan was there's 10 episodes, and totally for you guys listening, Cyberpunk Edgerunners. It is a Netflix show. And it is it's on Netflix, exclusively on Netflix. It is a prequel to the Cyberpunk 2077 game by CD Projekt Red. The show so let's review real fast, right? So everybody that is on the same page. Cyberpunk is a genre of science fiction, right? And I think that the first term, it comes out of the 80s. The main novel, the first full novel of cyberpunk fiction that we consider the kind of the the Lord of the Rings of cyberpunk is Neuromancer by William Gibson. There's a bunch of short stories. There's Altered Carbon. There's Snow Crash. There's a few other ones. And then there's video games and role-playing games. Around the mid to late 80s, this guy named Mike Pondsmith, he's this kind of nerdy black dude who designed role-playing games. He designed a tabletop role-playing game called Cyberpunk. I believe it was called Cyberpunk 2019 or 2020 or something like that originally. And it's basically, it takes a lot of elements from William Gibson, from the different from Blade Runner and all that stuff. It's you play as a merc, like a mercenary, in a world dominated by corporations. Well, fast forward 30 something years, and we have CD Projekt Red, which is the Polish video game company that did The Witcher 3.
Yep.
Well, did all the Witcher games. Witcher 3 was their main game, their biggest game. And they came out with Cyberpunk 2077, which is a first-person role-playing game that had a really, really rocky start. It promised a lot, and it had a hard time.
Rocky.
I think its main problem was that I think they overpromised, and I also think that it came out in the era where the specifically the home consoles were switching over from the Xbox One to the X, and they were in between generations, both the consoles and of video cards for home PCs.
Oh, that's right.
They tried to downscale a lot. They were trying to downscale a lot, and they needed the better hardware. And eventually the hardware caught up to what they were doing. And now it's a game that started off completely rocky, and now it's skyrocketed to, in my opinion, being one of the best, role playing, not online, but video game role playing games of all time.
Alex, yeah, no. This is how good Cyberpunk 2077 is, especially if you get the DLC, the Phantom Liberty DLC. It's the only game you ever have to play. You can play that,
I agree.
and you're good. You're good.
I agree.
It's the 2001 Space Odyssey of computer games. Just play that. You're good.
The story itself, the story in Cyberpunk. I mean, look, we've done like 5 podcasts on a damn video game. Okay, it's obviously our favorite video game. I was actually playing it this morning. After I finished Edgerunners, I was like, let me light up.
Jones a little bit, man.
Let me go check out on V. And I was like, I haven't logged on here for a while, and I ran around a little bit of Night City, a little bit of kataning, some cops left and right, a bit, like. I think I might do another run through, but
yeah, right.
The game is great in my opinion, and I've said this many times. The story and the voice acting, specifically, what's his name's amazing performance.
Keanu Reeves.
Keanu Reeves, right?
Yeah, Keanu Reeves in it. Like, yeah,
it's Keanu Reeves' best performance. Period. It's better than any movie he's in. I don't care what anybody says. All right.
Yes.
Johnny Silver, Keanu Reeves is basically your id. He's kind of your. It's a complex story, but he's kind of your id, and he's basically. It's the best performance Keanu Reeves has ever given in any media, in my opinion. It's better than anything he's been done as a movie, and the game kind of like is about him basically, but really it's you.
It's about how you become Keanu Reeves. It's about how you become Keanu Reeves.
Right. Cyberpunk 2077 has better writing and acting than a lot of like full-blown studio movies, and it has a better storyline than a lot of novels I've read and a lot of other media I've enjoyed over the years. And it's a fantastic.
There's entire quests. There's entire single quests that have better writing than anything else on Netflix except Edgerunners.
Right. There's some really good stuff. Well, I believe around 2021, 22, CD Projekt Red decided let's do a kind of like a anime tie-in. So they had a Polish video game company write the story, combine it with Studio Trigger, which is a Japanese anime studio that I think they're one of their main big productions was Kill la Kill, which is a pretty good anime. It's really insane and weird about like a skanky schoolgirl outfit that gives her superpowers. It's basically Venom, but a schoolgirl outfit. It's really weird, right? And also
Sounds
Delicious
about right.
in Dungeon.
Sounds about right.
And also Delicious in Dungeon, which is a great anime and manga, which is about a party of adventurers that go deep into this dungeon, and they don't have any money for food and supply. So what they do is they like kill monsters and eat them. So half the show is them like fighting the monster, and then the other half is like presented like a cooking show where it's like slime soup, and they like cook the soup, and it's actually pretty funny, but it's also like kind of exciting. Great show, highly enjoyable. But yeah, so Studio Trigger, CD Projekt Red, they do a 10-episode miniseries. Each episode's about 30 minutes. So the whole show, it's basically a long movie, about 5 hours, and it's fantastic. It has really crazy art. I never watched it until Phisto made me watch it. He's like, "You got to watch it." I'm like, "Okay, I got to." And
I was offended. I was deeply offended you had not seen it.
Well, one of the main reasons I haven't watched it was because a lot of times when I watch anime or things, I watch it with my daughter, and this one is no go for kids zone.
Yes, 100%.
Okay? This is like a PG-17. It's got like titties in it. It's got prostitution. It's got basically snuff porn,
hyper-violence
themes, hyper-violence. I mean, the violence start. I'm fine with the violence part. It's the snuff pornography. That's why Cyberpunk 2077 video game is absolutely a PG, like a not PG, a NC-17 video game. Okay,
it really is.
Like it's one of those like I'm when it comes to allowing my kid to watch TV or watch movies and that kind of stuff. I'm okay with some rated R movies, especially just violence and stuff. I don't give a crap about that. And so she's like, for example, Demon Slayer is really violent, but she's watched that. tons of stuff. Jaws. She's seen the Aliens, The Thing, all those horror movies. She's fine with completely, but I'm not okay with like, I just don't. She doesn't know anything about like prostitution and pornography and snuff pornography and exploitation of people and that kind of stuff, which is kind of the theme of cyberpunk, and it's really kind of the theme of the show itself. Edgerunners is not as dark as the actual video game. The video game is a lot darker.
Yeah.
I mean, the video game opens up with like organ harvesting like operation.
Yeah,
right. Like I think if you're like pulling people out of like ice bathtubs and like rescue them,
and not even like sexy organ harvesting, like literally down in a gutter.
Yeah. And then like
covered in cockroaches.
The ambulance is not picking him up because they haven't renewed their subscription to the ambulance, so it's a little bit on the dark side. And then there's an entire like storyline about snuff pornography, and one of the main characters, Judy, is involved in basically making pornography, like virtual reality pornography and that kind of stuff. And
hypergooning.
Yeah, hypergooning, right? So it's a pretty dark video game, and everybody dies. Edgerunners is also pretty dark, and everybody dies. But so what is cyberpunk? Cyberpunk, in my opinion, is it's sword and sorcery. It's what sword and sorcery is to high fantasy. Cyberpunk is to science fiction, right? That's kind of how I feel. In a way, sword and sorcery is very similar to cyberpunk, but what cyberpunk means, it's a combination of two words, obviously cyber and punk. So what it means is that it deals with the idea of the effect of technology on the human body, because it deals with like ideas of transhumanism. How does the technology affect us as a human? How does technology affect us? And then the punk aspect deals with the fact that the characters tend to be on the bottom of society. Like they're usually just like criminals or non-people, bums, that type of stuff. And they're in direct opposition with the greater society. It's usually near future. Corporations run the world. It's just kind of a mess, right? It's nothing new. It's been around for like 30 something years now, right? Total Recall is a great example with Arnold, and the one that doesn't exist also is a good example. RoboCop is a good example of cyberpunk, if you really want to be kind of Demolition Man is kind of like Demolition Man is kind of like a reverse cyberpunk. It's like a nice cyberpunk almost, but it's kind of along the same lines, right? So what happens?
Is Matrix cyberpunk?
I don't. You know what? Matrix has some of the ideas of cyberpunk, but not really, because there's no.
Only because Keanu Reeves, like that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, Matrix takes some of the images of cyberpunk, but I don't think it's truly cyberpunk because it has alien. Like the Matrix are basically AIs, but they're basically alien AIs. If you really want to be honest, the way they like react, and I don't feel like they're like a corporate like. The key to cyberpunk is humans are really crappy towards each other.
Yeah, you're right.
Right? I mean,
right. Yeah, you're right.
It's the punk side of it. The corporation destroys you. It's like hyper capitalism is the enemy of cyberpunk. And when you have like an alien AI like you do in the Matrix that basically milks humans, it's not really. It's more of a horror sci-fi. That's what it kind of turned into. They're not fighting a man because the man is not even a man. They're just fighting nothing, And I don't know. It's
that's fair.
It's on the edge, right? It's borderline cyberpunk, but not really. I don't think it hits the spots, right?
You'd call it cyberpunk if you didn't know any better.
Yeah, it has like some of the visuals of cyberpunk, but and like the idea of like the web and stuff like that, but I don't think it hits it. So what's going on in Edgerunners? Edgerunners is basically about this guy named David Martinez. He's a young kid. I'm catching some audio. Is that you?
Oh yeah, sorry. I had to grab something.
Oh, okay, sorry. All right. I wasn't sure if my microphone something picks up like from the street. So you get this guy named
Nope,
David
it's just your
Martinez.
retarded co-host.
Yeah. David Martinez is like this. He's like a young teenager. I think he's like 17, no, 18 at the beginning of the, and his mom is a kind of like an ambulance driver type of like a paramedic. Turns out that she basically responds to cyber psychos that are people that are completely like jacked up on way too much implants, technological implants and stuff, and then they go crazy. And what she does is she steals their implants and sells them on the black market, because most of these guys are like ex-military dudes who have all these crazy like combat enhancements and stuff. So she kind of steals them out of their corpses and sells them on the black market. Anyways, in the first episode, she dies, and our boy David, his whole life goes to shit. He ends up meeting this crazy edge runner chick named Lucy, who is a net runner. She's like a hacker basically, and like a VR hacker. And she hangs out with a bunch of mercenaries. And the whole show itself is a tragedy, okay? All cyberpunk is a tragedy. And this group of people end up just getting darker and darker and darker and getting more into like the underworld, getting more and more insane, because the more technology you implant into yourself, the less human you become. And David goes on a spiral of just over implanting himself with different pieces of cyberware. And by the end of the show, he's no longer human. His humanity is almost non-existent. And you see like the tragedy of all the different characters, like this, how they end up poorly. And almost all of them go through a downward spiral of like just failure, like, and some of them die just anticlimactically almost. And that's the point of the show, because there's a part where one of the characters, one of the bad guys, tells them that like, you always work for the corporations. Even when you work against the corporation, you're working for the corporation. And it's basically, it's kind of how like, even being the rebel, even being outside, even like fighting the corporation, you work for the corporation. And it feels like there's like, in a way, Edgerunners and the whole cyberpunk kind of like genre is really a very nihilistic genre, but a very realistic at the same time. Like, you always lose. There is no winning. Like, even when you win, you lose. And it's almost like the only way to reach.
It's very rare. It's very rare.
Yeah, and when you do win, like, you get like notoriety and fame and stuff. You get to be remembered by the chooms at the bar. Well, it's because you're dead.
Well, I'd say that's one way of winning, and that's the winning that David guns for. But I'm thinking of how Lucy and Falco end up, and the other way to win is escape.
Right.
Is to get out. Is to somehow, even for a short time. Because like the only happy ending in Cyberpunk 2077 is literally escape, and your character may or may not live for about 6 months.
Escape and death.
Yeah, but I mean, it's better than the alternative.
Right.
But anyway,
so one of the things about Edgerunners, and I highly recommend you guys pop on Netflix and watch the 5 hours. It's fantastic. If I had some criticism, I wish it was 20 episodes. I feel like, man, it would have, if it had about 10 more episodes, it was double the length, it would have been even better. I thought, I was like, man, I wanted more. I really wanted more like in between time missions. I feel like, because there's a time jump in the show, and I feel like that could have been like another season in that time jump. And I would have enjoyed, and I really liked Rebecca, the character Rebecca, a lot.
Yeah, Rebecca's great.
She's a little shotgun girl, and
you can find her shotgun in the game.
I saw that.
Yeah,
I saw that.
Yeah,
she did not
go grab
well.
it and avenge Rebecca. I have to say, a shotgun character with guts and a massively tuned up Sandevistan is kind of amazing.
Oh, I might have to do that.
It's hilarious. It's bonkers, man.
I did really like what's his name in it? What's his name in it? And what's his name? Adam Smasher. I thought Adam Smasher in the show was really good.
Yeah.
Because in the game he's kind of like super crazy, but in this one, like I'm like, oh, he's cool. Actually,
yeah.
These Arasaka guys.
No, he's great. I like how they got the voice actor from the game too to be in the show. So just because that guy's voice is perfect.
Yeah, for Adam Smasher. And as soon as I saw him, I'm like, well, they're not going to end up good.
Here we go.
He's here. I'm like, this is a prequel. Well, so he's I know for a fact Adam Smasher is not dying because he's all over the game. So, yep, he's not right. So one thing that's interesting, and the reason I even brought this up, and I'm going to combine it to the article we read also, is that we are obviously we don't live in a cyberpunk world, but we live in I would say, possibly a proto cyberpunk world. We live in a world where, we get things where people we live in and this is going to sound like a lefty in here. We do live in a near hyper capitalist world, and capitalism in a way dehumanizes you. I mean, when I got that bill for $5,000 just to get a 50-cent shot 2 weeks ago, I was getting ready to go Adam Smasher on people, just out of principle, even though I don't have to pay it because my insurance is going to cover. I forwarded it to my insurance, but I got the bill in error because they didn't input my insurance properly, so they gave me the uninsured bill, and to me that was insane. Like for a 5-minute like urgent care visit, I get a $5,000 bill, and I like what world is that a feasible, realistic thing? Like the complete and total like abuse. I mean that, and I don't care. I don't give a crap. People go, well, that's the supply and demand. Man, fuck you. That is completely unreasonable. All right. And
no, there's no way it's supply and demand. Absolutely not.
Right. And one of the things that like the cyberpunk kind of genre does, and like especially the show and like the video game, is it just shows how everybody nobody has meaning. All right. Like everything has no meaning, and you see the best character in both the video game and in the show is actually none of the human characters. It's actually the city itself. It's like the ambient like things going on in the background. Right. And when you're playing Cyberpunk 2077, you're walking around the city and there's stuff everywhere happening. Actually, it's one of the games where you actually feel like you're in a real place. Like there's conversations going on. There's like people, and it's all miserable crap, dude. Right. And in the show, they did a really good job of capturing that same exact feeling as he's walking out of his apartment and there's like some dude jerking off with like a jerko-meter 5,000 or whatever.
I was just thinking of that guy.
Yeah, just jacked up on like VR. There's like some weird psycho with like a penis implant peeing, like there's just like pornography everywhere. And like the people themselves are inhuman. Like they've used technology to dehumanize themselves even further. But the true dehumanization of them is not done by them. It's done by the corporations. And even the corporate employees, right? The corpos who are like the higher status people, they themselves are inhuman and have no value. So in a world where like you can just whittle your life away with like VR in your skull directly and just basically like completely turn yourself into a machine, like basically give your soul over to the machine, you end up dehumanizing yourself and the whole society becomes fully dehumanized. And that's kind of like the craziness about it, right? It's like, so the storylines that we see are these storylines of love and trying to escape this just kind of dehumanizing circle. And they're all tragic because you can't. Because in order to escape, you have to walk this fine line, like this edge, right? Between fully dehumanizing yourself and trying to get out. And our main character, spoiler alert, does not figure out how to get out. He does not make it. Almost none of them do. And it made me think about the article you sent me today, which was, let me pull it up real fast. Let me find it real fast. I'll link it later. It's called The Great Zombification by Owen Yingling at the New Critic. Right? And the article itself is kind of long and kind of like not that interesting. He Owen is a 21-year-old guy. He goes to University of Chicago, I think, and he's writing about how basically everybody uses AI, including the professors, and that the university system is going to fail. And the question is like, what is the point of AI, and what is the point of giving away all? He said he noticed in his fellow students that at first it's like cheating on tests or helping them with essays and stuff, but then eventually it became doing everything, like replying to emails, sending like a note, like a text message to your girlfriend and that kind of stuff. And we get to the point where what do we gain from AI and what do we give up from AI, right? So what is the point of education if the teachers use AI and the students use AI? So what is the point? I mean, what do you think about that, Phisto? You're the teacher.
Say that one more time.
What, like, when AI comes to education, do you think it has any benefits? Like, what is the point of having education if AI is teaching AI?
Yeah. I think from my perspective as a public school teacher, even with the few years that I've had the experience, I mean, I started teaching right when ChatGPT came out, and it was instantly had nothing to do with education. It had nothing to do with learning. It had nothing to do with transmitting love of subject to the student. It was, how do I get a good grade and what's the answer? And it's that, what's the fastest way through the maze so I can have my cheese? That's all it's been. And people are aggressively pushing it out. For example, the current Secretary of Education in Florida is a big AI proponent. And just more and more things are getting sent out to us, and more things are being sold to us every day. Use AI for this, use AI for that, and all of our programs are Google based. So there's Gemini and fucking everything. It's obnoxious, and it's just I'm constantly surprised at all the dumb little ways that they summarize, that they put AI. Like, you get a little prompt, teacher types LOL in a chat, and I get a summarize this prompt from Gemini. Like, fucking really? It's ridiculous. Anyway, so it's just more and more and more, and it's just slop and slop and slop and slop. And you realize that if it's free, you are the product. And
Right.
if you were an AI company, if you were a tech bro, if you were a cyberpunk corporation, and you were trying to build a system that would allow you to basically make more money, you have a ready-made population of captive humans that you can test on and that you can collect data from and that you can basically use to fine-tune your product on the back of the taxpayer. I mean, that's what's going on. They're pushing it out because they want to make the product better. They want to test it, and public schools are fucking retarded to let it happen because people they're either in on it or they don't see any better, or it's the myth of progress that so many public school teachers are beholden to. I mean, it's all of those things happening. So it's almost kind of unstoppable, I think, in a lot of ways. It's the zeitgeist, man. It's the spirit of the age. It's Napoleon on a horse. Instead of Napoleon on a horse, it's some blue-haired freak with an iPad. I don't know.
I just, to me, the most shocking thing,
it's just
is that I understand. Okay, look, I understand why students use it, right? One of the major problems in a like university, higher academic kind of thing is that, let's be honest, a lot of bachelor degrees and a lot of master's degrees and stuff are just second high school because they want a job, right? This is not the traditional liberal educations where upper class, middle middle to upper class guys, gentlemen were going to go learn, the classics, and it wasn't about the love of knowledge and that kind of stuff. It's like,
Right.
dude, I just need to get my MBA because
Right.
I need to get a
It's not
freaking
about the
job.
life of the mind.
Right. It's basically
Right.
like education started killing itself. Higher education started killing itself when it started giving bachelors for nursing degrees, right? Which should always their vocational the fact that nursing, for example, like to be an RN as a bachelor's is the most ridiculous nonsense ever, right? Because you don't need literature to get to hook up an IV. All right. Like, I'm sorry, guys. You know what I mean? Like, ooh, right. But they've basically, monetized credentialing and they've killed themselves. So yeah, you know what? If I'm going to college to become a nurse because I want to work like the night shift at the hospital, making like 90 grand a year or whatever nurses make, I don't have to, like, I'm trying to get a job here. Okay. I want to make a job that I can survive for the rest of my life on. I don't have time to like learn humanities because I just want to do IVs and I just want to like give out medication. Right. And, so yeah, I'm going to cheat because I'm not here because I love literature. I'm here because you're making me take this class because you want me to pay you. Right. So universities have destroyed their own, credibility by that. At least like, middle grade and lower grade universities are just really fancy vocational programs, because the guy going to like your local across the street university, he's not going there because he's going to revolutionize, the critical theory of literature, as a professor. He's going there because he wants a job that's better than his mom's job or his dad's job that did not have a college degree, honestly. Right. And, so yeah, I get it. I get the cheating part, right? But the point, the part I don't get is I don't understand like high school and lower level obsession with AI from the teacher side. Is because it's just going to take your job, right?
Right.
If you as a teacher is just using AI to do your lessons plan, then you are the redundancy in the chain, my dude, right?
Yes.
In 5 years, all we need to do is, we don't even need the school. Just put a VR set on your kid, right? And have the AI, the VR AI, right?
It's amazing how many teachers don't see it. They're like, oh, it can help save you time. And at what point are you no longer a teacher? At what point are you no longer bringing anything unique to the table?
Right. Like what is your point? Right.
Yeah.
At this point, you're a proctor, just some dude can do it. But I mean,
Right.
that is the transhumanist idea, right? The transhumanist idea is to, is to have like, I think that if we're heading in this future, we're going to have a situation where we're going to have private schools run by, tech bro corporations that just do their own education from birth to, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
That's the future. We're looking at like techno feudal. Right.
Palantir's already experimenting with that. I don't know if it's still going on, but a while back they were hiring people straight out of high school, man. Right. They were gonna educate you in everything.
Right.
There you go.
You know what I mean? And that's the future. Like in a lot of like cyberpunk fiction, you have these things called like arcologies, right? Which are basically like cities within cities. And they're run by like a corporation, like Arasaka runs the entire, Arasaka arcology. And you're born and you die, kind of like, futuristic versions of old company towns from the 19th century, right? The early, like the late 19th century, right?
Like data towns.
Right.
Data towns.
But you're born and you have like a legacy admission to the local schools that are run, and they're not making you into an academic. They're not making you in their schools are not they're AI teachers and they're like teachers. They're not making you into academics or artists and stuff. They're making you into corporate employees, right? And they're using AI to screen you to be the best corporate employee and to take over from the retiring corporate employees, right? It just makes sense.
Alex. Think about Edgerunners. David Martinez goes to an Arasaka sponsored high school.
Right.
He beats the absolute bejesus out of the boss's kid at one point. Just shreds that dude, right?
Right.
And Arasaka, when they find out that Martinez has the Sandevistan and that's what he used to beat the crap out of the kid, the boss does not give a fuck about his son. He's like, you need to get Martinez back here, whatever it takes. because he sees that they're useful. He sees, and that's what these things are for. Like that's what public schools are going to become. Like, yeah, we're going to give the plebs something to do, but the ones that are exceptional, we're gonna pluck them like cattle and get them to do what we want.
Right. Well, and the scariest thing that we're seeing right now, and this is a problem that I think this is a problem that we've always had.
Sure.
We've always had since the entire 20th century, probably, but it's getting worse and worse now in the 21st century. And this is one of the things that AI is going to absolutely cause a problem, is that there's a significant portion of our population that is absolutely worthless when it comes to like productivity, to providing the ability to provide the things that a corporation or a capitalist society needs. Like these people are just, there's tons of people that just cannot handle, they can't do anything beyond menial work, right? There's people that cannot even do low-level stuff like serving in a restaurant, beyond like washing dishes in the back or something like that. And so what do you do with these people, right? And then if you're a tech bro transhumanist, you're going to realize that, that's the majority of the planet. Right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's a significant, like you're a teacher, man. There's some, I'm sure you have some students and you've had some students that are just like, wow, how do you breathe? Like how do you remember to breathe? Like that must take a lot of brain power. Like that must use up all your brain power to be able to breathe or like eat breakfast in the morning, and I've come across people like that, in the military in the past where it's like, wow, okay, like you're not as smart as my cat, it's like you have zero instincts to like, so what do you do with these people, right? You can put them in like, a lot of them self-select out, right? And it's not just intelligence, it's just like certain personality types, right? And they self-select out by becoming junkies or criminals or, the homeless people, right? Or they self-select out by institutionalizing themselves due to like drug use and that kind of stuff. And then so what are you going to do with these people, in your transhumanist future world? Right? Because the more high tech the society gets, the less menial work these guys can do. So what do you do with them? You just brain rot them with like entertainment.
Make use of them and grind them up, purge them up, and yeah.
Well, I mean, I think the solution is it's stuff like universal basic income and just pure entertainment. I mean, Canada's doing it, right? They're just killing people, right? With you said the Canadian goodbye. They're giving people the Canadian goodbye, right? I mean, Jason says in the chat to the mines, but like really robots can do the mines, right? And the people running the robots in the mines are going to be high tech stuff, right? So there comes a time where, but that's exactly what the future. That's what the cyberpunk future is. Jason in the chat says not to mine anything, just to keep them there until they die. But that's exactly what the cyberpunk world is, right? You brain rot people with like VR pornography, all the soy slop they can eat to keep them alive, and they just basically thrive on the street, junked up out of their brains on like, whether it's like pornography, drugs, just entertainment until they die. That's really what it is. And then you harvest their organs or something, right? But yeah, that's our future, right? And it was what's his name? Your favorite sociologist or media guy. What's his name?
McLuhan.
Medium is the message. McLuhan, right? McLuhan says that one of the things is that with every piece of Marshall McLuhan says that with every piece of technology that we adapt, we give up something, right? So like technology gives you something, but it takes something, right? Was that him that said that? I believe it was him, right? I think it was McLuhan that said that. He said that like basically the idea is that every new technology we adapt, right, is you by gaining something, you give up something in return for it. It's kind of like a trade-off, right? So for example, when we adapted cars, we got the ability to do quick, fast transportation, and it opened up distances for us, right? Now, what would take us like days to travel, now it takes us hours, right? But what do we give up? Well, we give up the journey in a way, right? It's much better, to, I don't know, like think about it this way, like a road trip across the country can be more pleasant, more edifying, more entertaining than a several hour flight across the country. So you give up that experience, you give up that control, you give up that that ability to do that, right? So, you know, with stuff like electricity, we gain all this stuff, but we give up, we give up the darkness, right? We give up like the ability to, I don't know, sit around a campfire or some whatever. Everything is a trade-off, right? So what's the trade-off for AI? What's the trade-off with letting AI think for us, right? What's the trade-off with that? I don't know. We'll see. I guess we'll see, right? You back, Fisto?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think I'm back finally. The AI overlords just couldn't handle my truth, so they could ban me.
I know. But yeah.
But yeah,
So
we'll see. It's moving towards, like you were saying with McLuhan, it's moving towards his unhappy global village.
right. It's, and you know me, I'm not a doomer. I've never been a doomer when it comes to AI, and I've never been like a pro AI person. I've always basically said, and so far I've been kind of proven right for what's 3 years now. I've said it's not going to be like cool Skynet, and it's not going to be like a nothing burger. It's just going to be fake and gay, and that's really what it's been. It's like slop. AI didn't like destroy art. AI didn't destroy movies. It just made everything lame. Now we're just polluted with dumb AI crap, and it's like you can tell. Like nothing pisses me off more than when I like open a Substack article and I can see that the person used AI. Like I'm just like, you're using like the exact format that AI puts things in. You're using the exact phrases that AI does. It sounds, especially when you've read this person for many, many years before AI, and you're like, oh my God, you're being lazy, dude. You're using AI. And it makes me really mad, to be honest. I'm not going to tell you who I'm thinking about, but there's a few people on my like list that I read every now and then that clearly use AI, and I really hate them now. And like I immediately like just block and move on when I see AI writing of zero tolerance for it, because I'm just not interested. I want your thoughts, not AI's thoughts. I don't want Chat GTPs or like Grok's thoughts on stuff. Yeah. What else is there? There's also another article that I read today, which
what's this?
Complete different topic. I'll
Excellent.
actually I have the link for it right now. Give me a second. Let me get this link. It's a Substacky article.
Gimme.
Let me get it. Boom. What isn't it?
Dating crisis in the Orthodox Church.
It's called A Dating Crisis in the Orthodox Church, A Woman's Perspective. Right? I think Dave Green actually commented on it too. Yeah.
I saw him commenting on it.
He just read it. I read it this morning. All right. So here's the thing about this article. I'm going to summarize it for you guys. All right. You might not even be interested in it if you're not an Orthodox person. Basically, she's going on and on about like how like it's difficult for women to find guys at church because blah, blah, blah. And, well, a lot of the guys aren't really interested in the kind of women that go to the Orthodox church, right? Now, one thing I would like to say is that picking up women at church is really a dumb idea. All right, if you're an Orthodox person. And I'm going to tell you why right now. Orthodoxy is pretty new, especially it's new to the United States, right? Outside the kind of the ethnosphere of like, like the Greek churches or the Russian churches in the big cities. There's recent like this recent increase in Orthodoxy in the U.S. is really like a post-COVID thing. It's kind of been a steady increase, late 90s, 2000s, but then it really exploded during the COVID era and like kind of like the crash of like Protestantism. Um, but it's not the reason like guys aren't hooking up with girls at church and stuff is because the kind of people that are going to the Orthodox Church for the most part are people that realize that the world sucks and so much of America is spiritually devoid of like truth. So that's why I'm going to the Orthodox Church in the first place, right? Not me because I'm a cradle, right? But does that make sense to you, Fisto?
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Right? Like most of the guys I know have realized that, like, wow, the world is dark and full of horror. You know what I mean? Right? It's
Yeah.
and these other churches don't have any answers. This one does, and I'm trying to go to somewhere where I can fix it, right? And the Orthodox Church likes to see itself as a hospital, right? And honestly, when you're at the hospital, the last thing you're looking for is to hook up with the other patients, right? So that's really why those guys are not ready to do women. The article itself, like Jason says in the chat, is another article by a woman about how men need to change to accommodate women, right?
Yeah. I'm
And
scanning it right now. I'm scanning it right now. And the first thing I want to know is, so what about the woman's perspective? I recently put out a survey and received 41 responses from single women. My very first thought is, who did you ask? Where are they? Where did you find it? Did you just pull your Facebook group for,
right.
I mean, my wife has told me about some of these things. Like, if I were to pull the people in our WhatsApp chat, you're going to get very different answers than the, single ladies of liberal orthodoxy Facebook group where it's functionally just prot slop. Like,
Right.
right there
And
is already like, okay, well, who are these people? Where are they from? Like, and there's nothing. It's just,
right, there's
yeah,
more than
she made
41
it up.
women.
She made it up.
Yeah, there's more than 41 women at my church, right?
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing, right? I don't like, yes, it does have a pseudo kind of feminist kind of perspective, right? And it does do the same thing, right? Like, it's like it has this tone of like, oh, it's guys that need to fix themselves or blah blah blah, right? The reality of it is, like I said earlier, is one of the main problems is that because most of the people in these churches, like the one I go to and the one you probably go to, are new to Orthodoxy, right? And they're trying to figure themselves out. There's a hole in their spiritual life, and they're trying to fix it by getting, finding truth, right? And there's not a lot of time to focus on dating people. The other thing is there's something in a lot of I've noticed in a lot of like dating discourse or like pairing up discourse that like there's always this like this idea of prerequisites, right? You know, an Orthodox. Okay, here's so these are the prerequisites that Orthodox women that she talked to universally have, right? Bullet point one is an Orthodox man who takes faith seriously and wants to raise children in the church. Okay, cool. All right. But what age are we talking about men here? Right? 21-year-old, does he even know if he wants to raise children? I did not want to have kids when I was 21. I did not want to have kids until I was 20, until I was 31.
Yeah.
And I didn't know I wanted to have kids until I was 34, to be honest. Right? Ability to communicate well and be socially adept. Well, okay, that's something you learn, right? Ability to care for themselves, basic grooming, health, weight, hygiene shows, which indicates they will be able to care for others. That also applies to women, right? That's a two-way street, right? This one to me is a very reasonable thing. A lot of times, I feel like a lot of men and women are very deluded in their self. A lot of men and women delude themselves about their overall like looks, I think.
Yeah.
Women more so than men. I think women have become, yes, queenified, and they rate themselves much, much higher than what they really are. You'll have people like rate themselves as a 9 or 10 when they're most people, let's be honest, are like 5s at best. Okay. And a lot of people are not the best shape, compared to past generations. Stability emotionally, financially, and spiritually, integrity and honesty, a clear direction and intentionality in life. Okay. Here's the problem, right? And this doesn't just apply to the Orthodox thing, right? It applies to all dating. I had none of those things when I was 22. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right. I was literally a piece of shit. All right. I guess I had drive. Like I wanted to do something fun and adventurous. I guarantee you that my parents didn't have any of those things when they met and like they got married. Right. When, I'm okay, like, so I was like 28 when I met my wife, and she was
Hmm.
like 22 or 23. She's like 4 years younger than me. Um, Neither of us met those requirements. All right. We just really like spending time with each other and we got married.
Yeah.
Right. The whole point of marriage is you're supposed to grow into each other. Right. You're supposed to have faith in each other. You pick the person that you're compatible with emotionally and stuff. And you're supposed to grow together. When I met my wife, she didn't have a college degree, and we met in a bar and we partied all the time and we drank, but she was smart and she was very cute, and we liked spending time with each other. But by all standards, we were losers, and now
Hmm.
she runs a fantastic, she has her own business, and she's one of the most popular people in the area, and she's a fantastic mother, probably, one of the best mothers I've ever encountered, and she's a great wife and she's amazing. But she grew into that, you know, that was when I first met her, like, what is it, 16 years ago? She was none of those things, right? She was just a 22-year-old like hipster girl that, we used to do tequila shots at the bar together and chain smoke cigarettes. So this idea that you're supposed to be like perfect and then meet the other perfect person is an
Yeah.
absurd concept to me. Like
Yeah.
who is that? That's like Patrick Bateman level stuff,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I'm not
This is just a dating article with a orthodox coat of paint slapped on it.
right, right. So it's like the ideal. It's interesting because we just had an Orthodox wedding at our church, and it was young people, and one of my close friends that I brought into the church, he recently got chrismated after a year. He's dating one of the girls at our church. Right? He met her, and she was a kind of a regular like at the church, and they met, and they've been dating for almost like 6 months now. So it happens, right? And but I think the ideal thing is you as a man. I think the best way to do it is to find somebody and bring them into the church. That's
Yeah.
the key, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like it's to do it through conversion,
Yeah.
and I mean that goes for the girl too, But
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I just feel like this idea that I'm gonna go out and find the perfect person, like when I'm 22, is absurd, right? No, you find a person that you really like to spend time with and has potential. It's potential that you're looking for, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think that long term, like marriage and like relationships, are really about they're not like you're not matching perfection, like through like finance and that kind of stuff. What you're looking for is you're in a way like you're a talent scout looking for people that can that have the potential to grow into the Olympics like athlete, or like like the NBA star, right? You're looking for the Kobe at the high school, right? In a way, when you're young, you look for somebody that you're like, what, I can live with this person. I like spending time with her, and she really wants to do something. She has the intellectual and the drive, or at least she shows the capabilities to, if effort and properly pushed in the right direction, she can do it. And I want to you want to find somebody that will challenge you and you challenge them, and then you grow together. That's the key. But if you're already perfect and the other person's perfect, then why are you going to get married? Do you know what I mean?
Hmm.
Because like one of the things that always strikes me is that if I have everything together and everything's perfect, and I've like, I've got my great house that I bought because I'm a rich guy, I went to college and did everything right, and I have everything perfect, and now I want to get married. Well, I'm going to change my perfect life for somebody else.
Yeah.
Why even bother?
Yeah.
Right? Like I'm comfortable. I got everything I need. Right?
Yeah.
I should sell my house and we can buy a house together. Do you see what I mean? Right? In a
Yeah, I
way,
do.
you're supposed to struggle together. You're supposed to be, you're supposed to like be the 25-year-olds living together in a 600 square foot apartment that you could barely afford. That's part of the
Yeah.
fun of life and marriage. You're
Yeah.
supposed to be the
It's trying to approach it like it's trying to approach it with a machine program.
right.
Something that's meant to be revealed through just the life that a creature lives.
Right. And then you see this kind of mind. This is the same kind of mindset that's causing people not to have children because you got to wait for the perfect time. Well, I gotta wait till I can afford them and I
Yeah.
can pay for everything and they can have everything they want and they can have all the brand new clothes and all the brand new strollers. No, man,
I've
just
got
have
a
that
whole
kid in the
plan, man.
apartment.
I got a whole plan I got to execute so I can do
Yeah.
this properly.
Like I like, what? I grew up like, when my parents first had me, we lived in a 1-bedroom apartment. It was me and my brother living in a 1-bedroom apartment, like it can be done. And then the parents worked harder and they moved to a bigger place and then moved to a bigger place. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
like it can be done, man. Like literally people in the third world have like 10 kids and like they all live in the same mud hut. You're telling me that you
Yep.
can't live in a 2-bedroom apartment with like 2 kids,
Yeah.
right? Like
It's I was reading through some of the examples that they gave in the article, and of like it reads like you googled dating horror stories and then just slapped orthodox on it. I mean, there's one in here, like, so they pulled 40 women, right? They pulled 40 women. Multiple women had been led on by a man she really liked. One 20-year-old shared her experience dating a man 10 months before he cut it off because he was trying to get with some girl on the other side of the world. An 18-year-old woman in her parish reported that a man was in his 30s who asked her out. Father said no. And then it turns out he's an alcoholic. And this and that. Like, how are you finding, like, out of 40, you've got 6 horror stories? Really?
right.
Kind of makes
Right.
me wonder where you got the information from.
Right. You self-select,
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
it's the usual drama. I think,
Yeah, well, which it's this gets back to the first half of the podcast, man. And I mean, I get it. Like, clearly if these stories are true, I mean, yeah, it sucks. These kinds of things are not fun. Believe me, I been there, done that. But it's being it's being chronically online. It's it's go outside, touch grass, like talk to the people at your parish. Like, I mean, there's no way. Are all these people at the same church? Doubt it. Like, it's just, it's what's the word I'm looking
right.
for? It's like
Right.
that giving over. What are we giving up to AI? What are we giving up to the computer? What are we giving up to the machine? Like, we're giving up our perspective on reality, man. We're giving up our
Right.
perspective on what it means to be human, what it means to be a creature, what it means to be a son of God, a daughter of God. We're just giving that up.
It just feels more and more that I just want to completely disconnect, dude. I just want to like throw in my computer, like
Yeah.
not even do anything
Yeah.
anymore. Like just live in like a completely like
Yeah.
isolated. I I was
I'm
telling
gonna.
you. I think I was telling you
I'm gonna.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I'm gonna write on that this summer. I think I'm nearly ready. But I don't think that we should. I don't think that we should disconnect. I think when we log on, we need to realize that we're not just logging onto the internet to talk to our friends. We are diving into Plato's cave. We are diving into hell. We are Starship Troopers bouncing in through the atmosphere. We're gonna blow some shit up and we're gonna get the fuck out like as fast as we got in. Like, it's looking at the internet and looking at the digital space in a different way. And I think
Right.
looking at it in a more accurate way, because we are carrying little portals to hell in our pocket, and if we're not careful with it, disconnecting from it, I mean, you might as well get rid of your car. Like, you're not going to do that. You're not going to get, the medium is the message. You're not going to get rid of the mediums that you live your life in, right? You can't. I mean, stop, stop using electricity, man. Like, time to pull a King's North and go get a little farm out in Ireland, which, I mean, that's an option. But I think disconnecting from the digital world, I think you're kind of joking yourself a little bit. Like
Right.
to full on pull a full on monk. I mean, like, and I know that's not mean. I think the impulse is correct. But I think the impulse comes from just recognizing what you're actually doing, and that's, like I said, it's diving into hell.
Yeah, I mean that's that's the thing. It's like I told you. I think I told you guys in our Black Ibis Telegram chat that like I don't really know what's going on because this last few
Yeah,
weeks I've been home with the surgery. I've logged on to Substack and I've looked at Twitter and stuff. I just have been avoiding all like topics. I haven't really
yeah,
did any. I'll do it like I'll log on. I'll superficially look at my messages and then just move on. I haven't really like read anything that
yeah,
if the title seemed political or any type of current discourse type of thing, I just avoided it. I don't even and I haven't like watched any like I don't even watch TV or anything like that besides like streaming
yeah.
services, and I haven't followed any of the news. And I don't even know if like is the Iran war still going on? I don't even know. Is that the
I
thing?
guess I guess an Indian tanker got sunk by Iran recently. John was
Um,
telling me about that, which is kind of like haha. But anyway,
Yeah. See, I don't even
not
know. I haven't followed that at all. I just like it's because it's
yeah.
such a farce. The whole thing's a
Well,
farce, right?
Alex, you're pulling the you and I are pulling both sides of that classic Mark Twain quote. If you log on to the internet, you're misinformed. If you log off the internet, you're ill informed.
Right.
It's the same.
It's
It's the
exactly
same
that,
thing.
right? It's like the
Yeah,
newspaper thing, right?
that's all.
But I completely just didn't know. And today my daughter wasn't feeling good, and this morning she was like, "Oh, I don't feel good." And I'm like, "Well, I think you need to go to school because you don't have a fever or anything like that, right?" But if you continue to not feel good, go to the nurse, and then I'll come pick you up, right? And I mean, I live like 5 minutes away from the school. So, and then I realized like, oh man, I gotta have my phone on me the whole time now. I gotta turn the sound on. And I turned the sound on and all my stupid like notifications were going off constantly. And I realized what of an annoying thing to have my phone in my pocket is because I just most of the time, like where I've been home the last few weeks, I just left it on the counter and I didn't even look at it except like maybe once or twice a day. But having to have it with me, I was just so irritated. Uh,
Yeah,
and it just like it irritated me. That's kind of why I even read these articles because like I had the phone on me, so I was like, well, I might as well just look through it, and read some articles. Um, but in the chat, Housefrost says, "I pray my kids don't meet their person on the internet and in person, but instead in person. Church would be dope though because values and beliefs." She basically meant that what she said was that she hopes that her kids don't meet their future partners on the internet, but in person and preferably church.
yes,
But the truth is,
yes,
here's the thing about church though, right? Um, churches are places where people share the same thing, but at least like our church, the city, the Orthodox Church is supposed to be a hospital, and you get all kinds of people that go there. Just because you have a church doesn't mean that they're great people. Doesn't mean that they're
yeah,
compatible.
yeah,
Sometimes the best person you meet is in a bar outside of Camp Pendleton, right? You know what I mean? That's where I met my wife. On a random. She was visiting
yeah.
a friend, and they went out for a drink on a Wednesday, and I happened to be out on a Christmas time alcoholic binge because I was freshly back from Afghanistan, so I had like a month off. So I was just kind of binge drinking up and down the coast, and it was just randomly met her, and we got married. But you
Yeah.
know, sometimes you
Well,
meet
it's
like
bringing in. I think what's going on here is. So, can you hear me,
yeah, I can hear you. Yeah,
Alex? You there?
yeah, I'm there.
Oh,
Yeah, I can
okay.
hear you. Sorry.
That was odd. Oh no, sorry. I'm just saying it sounds to me almost as if there's an element of Puritan, processism going on. Like you've got to meet, you got to meet in church. You got to meet the right kind of people in church. You can't stay outside the church. You can't, you got to make sure you find somebody. There's all these rules, endless rules that are going to help make sure that you make the right decision. And
Right.
a very orthodox thing is Lord have mercy. Whatever I ended up doing, it was all fun, and I apologize. Lord have mercy. Like, whatever you decide, just do the thing. Go live your life as you constantly fuck up throughout.
Yeah, dude. I always tell people. I always tell people, like, I was having this conversation. Yeah. Dude, I was having this conversation with a friend of mine. She doesn't live here. She's an old friend of mine from back in the day, and her and I were really good friends, and we used to go partying and drinking together. So we knew each other at the height of our bad eras, basically. And she's happily married, and I'm happily married. And we were chatting the other day, kind of catching up, because she messaged me out of the blue, and she's like, I said something along the lines of, like, I can't believe, like, I'm married and I own a house, and, like, how did that happen? She goes, oh, I love it. Like, she goes, like, I love my life, right? And I'm like, but I always feel like that Talking Heads song, this is not my house, this is not my car, you know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
The Days Go By song or whatever. And
it's not my beautiful life. My God, what have I done?
Yeah, and I feel like I did everything right on accident and in spite of myself, basically. Somehow, like, I try to do everything wrong, like, and I somehow managed to end up in the right place completely on accident. And I guess that's the grace of by the grace of God, basically, I ended up in the right spot, or so I think everybody should just have some faith, man. Like, consider the birds, God will provide and put you in the right place, right?
Consider the birds, man. Consider the black ibis, man.
Consider the black ibises. Even David Martinez found the love of his life, on a train, robbing people's chips. And she ended up on the moon, guys.
At the end, when Adam Smasher is standing over him, and he's like, you could have been a great one. And he's like, I give a shit.
Right.
Perfect.
Exactly.
Just think of the birds, man.
Yeah, he did it. He made it to the top of. He accomplished his mom's dream. She said, "Oh, one day you'll be at the top of Arasaka Tower," and he did. He made it to the top of Arasaka Tower.
Hell yeah, he did. He blew that fucker up.
Right. So there we go. All right. I think that is it for today. We talked about some articles. We talked about Edgerunners. For you guys in chat and you guys listening, I highly recommend Edgerunners. I'm going to do a series on Cyberpunk. I'm going to do, like,
really happy you saw that. Yeah,
I'm like in a mood. So I'm going to reread Neuromancer. I'm going to reread all the stuff. I'll start off with the Bridge trilogy. That's going to be my plan. Not the Bridge trilogy.
Snap.
What's it called? Not the Bridge trilogy. Whatever it's called, the Neuromancer trilogy. Then the Bridge trilogy comes after that. It's the one that's the Idoru and stuff. But we'll do the Neuromancer stuff. We'll do. I'll probably watch Akira again. I haven't seen it since I was, like, in middle school. I'll watch a bunch of stuff, and then we'll maybe do some episodes on that, or some kind of side episodes on cyberpunk writing. Next week, guys, we have a special guest. My favorite guest, probably the most visited guest we've had on the show, the one and only Lisa Kuznak is coming. All right. So Lisa's coming next week. Kuznak. We are going to talk about more of her writing.
Ice Queen of Canada.
Yeah, the Ice Queen of Canada. My favorite. Well, you know what? We have a lot of favorite Canadians, right? Because we have John Carter. He's our favorite Canadian.
The Ice Ibis of Canada.
Yeah. The great Northern Ibis. So Lisa's going to come, and we're going to talk about, we're going to catch up on her writing, see where she is with her writing, see where she's got any new novels coming on. If you guys haven't read her books, man, I really recommend her books. And we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Frieren, the anime, Frieren, and all the different dog whistles Frieren has. And we are also going to talk about self-publishing and Amazon. I really wanted to talk about the topic of, like, the whole Kindle thing that people have been bringing up. Do you know what I'm talking about, Phisto? Like Kindle, like the whole Kindle publishing, Amazon publishing. How can we self-publish in the future? What what does the independent kind of market look like for a writer? We need to think outside the box.
Yeah.
I have a bunch of kind of topics I want to talk with. Not that I don't want to talk with you about them, but I want to talk to somebody that does this kind of stuff. And Lisa's had like 5 or 6 books out right now,
Of
so
course.
she's pretty good at that.
Yes.
If you
Yeah.
guys have a chance,
Yeah.
I highly recommend before the next episode to watch some Freerin. It's called Freerin Journey's End. I think it's Freerin made me eat. Remember how I did a bunch of episodes where I was like talking crap on fantasy, and I said there's nothing cool in fantasy. Well, Freerin kind of made me eat those words because it managed to make me interested in fantasy again. It like is the one fantasy show or media that really excited me. I think it did a fantastic job. So I'm going to talk about that because Lisa watched both seasons of it. Before I leave, though, remember how last week, Phisto, I was talking about a Black Lagoon?
Yes.
Remember that? If you like Edgerunners, you will like Black Lagoon. I feel like there's a lot of inspiration in Edgerunners taken from Black Lagoon. A lot of like the female characters are very much.
That definitely.
It had the kind of the same vibe.
I'm gonna watch that this summer.
Yeah. So when you're free, Black Lagoon and Freerin. All right, guys, have a fantastic night. We'll see you next Thursday with Lisa Kuznak. Phisto, have a great night, and I'll see you next week. Good night, everybody.
You too, buddy.